Hello friends, Be and by IAS is very much pleased to introduce today Dr. C.V. Dharmarao, a former civil servant and a renowned professor of geography. He will be talking to you on important topics of geography from prelims point of view for the civil services examination. We are very much grateful to Dr. C.V. Dharmarao for sparing his valuable time and wisdom for our aspirants today. Likewise, we will be introducing to you former civil servants, experts of various subjects, and also faculty from various institutes who will be addressing to you on various topics which are likely to be covered for different parts of civil services examination. Over to Dr. C.V. Dharmarao. Thank you.
Greetings of the day. At the outset, let me thank Jasbir Singh Bajaj IAS for the invitation and opportunity to interact with you all from the Be and Buy IAS platform. It is one of the best platforms for law and public ad optionals, as you will see soon. So, welcome to this lecture on important topics on physical geography, environmental ecology, biodiversity, and climate change. Uh, I will divide this important topics into two parts. The first part will cover the geography, and the second part will cover the ecological environment and biodiversity and climate change. So we'll adopt a very systematic and a scientific approach, and we'll go according to the sequence from the NCERT's class 11 and 12 to the standard books and related to the current topics of importance. So let us start with the first book of class 11 NCERT, Fundamentals of Physical Geography. In this, we will go chapter wise and see what are the possible expected or important questions in these topics so that we don't miss out anything. So, as I go on from chapter to the chapter and tell you what could be the important questions for this year's prelims, kindly make a note of it. And if you already know, it's good, but if you are not clear about the concepts and all that, just go back to the textbook and have a relook and ensure that the concepts are very clear. So we start with the origin and evolution of the Earth. Planets is important as we read a lot about the exoplanets, particularly K2-18b, which is the orbiting red dwarf. So you should know what is an exoplanet. As you know, planets are those which orbit around the sun, but planets that orbit around the stars are called exoplanets. Apart from exoplanets, there are also a lot of minor planets which are in the news for the last 1 year. So kindly make a note of that. Anything related to that can come. So as you all know, the prelims objective type of questions will have four options. In that, one of the options will be related to what is currently in the news. Other one option will be background related to that, and the other will be understanding of fundamental concept. So at least if you know the fundamental concept and what has been in the news and why in the news, you will be able to easily tackle the question by elimination process. So we will move on to the next chapter, that is the interior of the earth and the earthquakes. So you should focus on the recent earthquakes, the Jamaica earthquake, which is 7.7 magnitude, which is one of the deadliest earthquakes, and then the earthquakes in Turkey, and also don't neglect tsunami wherever it has occurred. We should also understand very clearly what is the shadow zone. The shadow zone where P and S waves are not reported. And also in the interior of the earth, what has been in news is the brimstone. You know, the effect of sulfur and all that in the interior of the earth. There have been a lot of articles in recent times about the brimstone or the burning stone. So we also try to understand the interior of the earth, because a question can likely to come from that. Why is the inner core solid whereas the outer core is liquid? And then in the same chapter, coming to volcanoes, you should also know what are the recent volcanoes that have erupted, what are the types of volcanoes. Particularly concentrate on the Krakatoa volcano in Indonesia. It's a caldera type of a volcano. So you should know what is a caldera. Go to the book and see what is a caldera and what are the various types of caldera volcanoes. And you may be asked the question, arrange the various types of caldera volcanoes chronologically during the last few years. And then you should also know the type like phreatic volcano, the one which gives out steam. So these kind of important types of volcanoes are important, and then there can be a question on that. And with the very other very important thing is about the movement of the Indian plate, how the Himalayas were formed, how the Deccan Trap was formed, and we should clearly understand the movement of the Indian plate, particularly with reference to the geological time scale, because the Magellan age, which is the new age proposed during this year, and the entire geological time scale which is given in the NCERT, you should be very clear, because they may just give Magellan age and ask you to arrange it in one of the various periods of the geological time scale. And then, of course, a proposal of introducing Anthropocene epoch in the geological time scale. So, all said and done, this geological time scale, if not two, at least one question is definitely expected. So, be thorough with all the entire geological time scale. Be very clear about the Magellan age. Also, be very clear on the Anthropocene. What is the proposal? Why it has come up and all that. And then coming to minerals and the rocks. Last year there was a question on minor minerals, wherein they have asked also the not only just about what is a minor mineral, also understanding the Minerals Act and all that. So this year there could be a question on the rare earth elements. What are rare earth elements? Why are they important? And what are the unique properties they possess? Where they are used? Because recently the Ministry of Environment and Forest have given a directive to all the mining organizations, and have adopted this, revised the mining rules with respect to the rare earth elements. So, rare earth elements in and out, be thorough with each and every aspect, because one is a very important topic and likely something will come out of it. Also, try to understand the geomorphological terms like exfoliation, solifluction, and differences between braided channels and entrenched meanders, alluvial fans and deltas. There could be a question of a cross-cutting question of deltas. Why deltas are more on the east coast, whereas there are not many deltas on the west coast? It's because of the tilt. And then there could be a question on climate as well. What is the temperature inversion? This has been in the news. What are air masses? What are fonts, jet streams, and then various types of cyclones. So there have been so many cyclones in recent times. How the cyclones are named, and they may ask you to give the various cyclones, and then ask you to arrange them chronologically. Ferrel's law, Hadley's cells, polar cells, and more important is the rain shadow. Because now that Ladakh has been carved out, there can be a question related to why it is in the rain shadow area, and all questions related to that. Another very important aspect is the concepts of clouds, how they are formed, what are the different types of clouds. They are all quite important, and also try to understand in what conditions dew is formed. Okay. Also try to understand the concept of formation of dew, in which conditions dew is formed. Another important topic in this chapter of climate is polar vortex. Polar vortex, they can be questioned directly or indirectly, so be very clear on that. And then, of course, there can be a mixed question on the Köppen's classification, India and the world Köppen's classification. Please be very clear on focus on more on the Mediterranean climate, because Mediterranean climate and one that is related to the ocean floor. What are the difference between gyres and atolls? And it's very important to understand the salinity. why North Sea, in spite of its location in the higher latitudes, records high salinity? No, it's because the North Atlantic drift brings the saline waters. And similarly, why Baltic Sea, though it's at a very low southern latitude, uh, the salinity is high. And similarly, try to understand why Mediterranean region the salinity is low is because of high evaporation. Okay, and also try to understand the why Bay of Fundy you find the highest tides, and also try to understand the types of ocean currents, cold currents, warm currents, and why in marine climate the fog is formed. What is the concept behind that? So these are all the important topics as far as the fundamentals of physical geography is concerned. Now we go on to the next book that in class 11, that is the India physical environment. This you should understand why the countries shares longest border with one of the countries, because India and its neighbors are very important. How many countries does it share the border? Which is the longest border and shortest border? And they may ask questions. They may give names of the countries and ask you to arrange it from the shortest border to the longest border. And this be very clear. India and its neighbors. A lot of questions are expected this time. Not only with reference to geography, environment, and all, but with reference to economy and many other things. So be very clear on the geography of India and its neighbors. And then we should also understand some conceptual questions like why the latitude and longitudinal extent is the same, it's about 30 degrees, but the actual distance between the north and south is 3,214 kilometers, but from east to west it is only 2,933 kilometers. So why is there a difference? So you should understand that the actual distance varies from east to west is because the longitudes increase towards the poles, whereas the latitudes remain the same. This I think we have already discussed this in the class. These are simple questions, but try to pay a little attention related to India and its neighbors and the location and latitude of India, because a lot of news is coming up related to India and its borders. You know, India, Nepal, you know, India, Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, etc. And then you should be very clear about all the mountain ranges in the north as well as in the south. The mountain ranges, Himalayas, try to understand all the peaks in ascending order, descending order. Mount Everest, K2, Kanchenjunga, Lhotse, Makalu, Manaslu, you know, how they are, what is their altitude, and try to have a clear geographic picture of from the lowest, maybe just remember 10 to 12 mountains again. And Dasher Brahm could be important because it's an hidden peak and is also been in the news. Similarly, in the peninsular India, try to understand all the mountain peaks from Anaimude to down to Aramkonda, which are the top five highest peaks. And then also understand why Satmala is called Satmala and the mountain peaks in Satmala. This could be another important question. Okay, so mountains, the islands, the lakes in and around India, and particularly the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and the Maldives Islands. All the islands try to remember geographically from south to north, and remember there have been plenty of questions on these islands in the recent times. We see the trends in the last 10 years. So try to remember all that. They are very important. And also remember the glaciers. Last time there was a question on glaciers. There could be a repetition. Glaciers. You try to remember each glacier and which river originates from it, and the rivers rise both north and the south flowing rivers. be very clear on that and try to do it. Say, for example, particularly with reference to Ladakh and the Jammu and Kashmir. Ladakh is very important, it's newly formed, so you should know Nubra, Raimo, Drag Brook, Machawi, these are the rivers which flow across Ladakh. What are the glaciers in Ladakh? And I also remember the major towns which these northern rivers cross, all the important towns. So if you draw a map of each of the river where it originates, starting from the glacier, and then draw what we call as river route map. So you'll see which are the major towns which is it is passing through. Also try to understand the role of Karakoram and why it is called a third pole, and because of the India-China relationship and so much of talk on this corona pandemic and all that, try to understand the entire geography, what are the various lines which separate India and China, and what are the various landforms related to that, and that entire area to be very thorough by drawing your own map. And then you should also remember that Teesta River is another very important topic where it originates in Jammu Glacier. And then monsoon, the ITCZ, and the Southern Oscillation, Indian Ocean Dipole, El Nino, the El Nina, these are most important. And also the vortex, that is the polar vortex. Then you come to vegetation. You should be very clear on the important flora and fauna. There has been the recent forest report, so you should understand what are the various flora and fauna, and what changes the forest report has brought in with reference to the forest area, how the forest area is distributed between the various states, which state has what, and various new terms have also been included in the forest report. So be very clear on that, and also on the soils. Mm, the percentage of soil erosion has been one of the highest during recent times, and particularly in the last year. 5,000 million tons of soil erosion has occurred, and on an average, it is occurring annually. So this is very important, not only because of the soil erosion increase, but also due to the fact that the soil health card scheme has completed 5 years recently. So there will be a lot of questions that can be expected related to soil. It is also known there is an organization, the government organization called the Central Soil Water Conservation and Research and Training Organization. So we should understand what is this role, what role has it played, what schemes it has brought out for restoring and ensuring for the reduction of the soil erosion. So now we move on to the human geography. So you try to please understand the terms like determinism, possibilism, environmentalism, etc. Any one of them can come. So two aspects in human geography that need special attention are, one is the world population, the other is about the migration. So world population, try to understand why July 11th is celebrated as the World Population Day. Because we reached the 5 million the population in 1987, so it was named. Why it was named, and what is India's role in this world population? Because India is one of the main contributors of the population. The World Population Report, all those aspects, be very clear on that, because that is going to be important. Please also be clear about all the glossary related to migration. We have on our website, I'm sure the other institutes also will be covering. What are the various terms given in the migration? You should understand what is diplomatic asylum, and then what is brain circulation, what is brain gain. We not only talk about brain drain, but also nowadays is we talk about brain gain. So all these terms be very clear. Understand the new trends of the international migration and the national migration, and also due to the fact that India is soon to overtake China in the next 7 years as far as the population is concerned. the sex ratio of India has been improving. You should understand what is sex ratio, why it has been improving, which state is doing better in the sex ratio, and all those related to sex ratio. Then coming to the industries, one topic that is very important is the footloose industries. You should understand what is footloose industry. Because footloose industries are not location specific. There are no locational factors which are involved, but there are other factors. Say, for example, diamond industry and electronics, and then what are ancillary industries, which is less than 1 crore. Normally, they are categorized as the ancillary industries. And then all the various types of workers related to the industries, like who are the pink collared workers. Normally, the women associated with work are called as the pink collared workers, and then who are the red collared workers, etc. And what are the culinary activities? The level top level decisions are normally categorized as culinary. So all these related terms, please make sure you understand and remember. Also, the various public sectors, why some are named Maharatna, what is the criteria for Mini Ratna, and which sector contributes maximum to the GDP, the service sector, and what are the various sectors and how they contribute. And then also try to remember important terms related to the transportation sector. What are the pack animals? And please also know the various sea routes, Mediterranean route, the Indian Ocean sea route, etc. Because all those are very important, which have been in the news recently. And then try to understand the various terms related to the international trade. What is dumping? China has been dumping steel and the solar panels to Europe and all that. So all the terms related to China versus USA, China, Europe, China, India, all this can be very important because they have been. And then the Human Development Index. What are the various indices? The multi-dimensional nature of these index, the gender equality index. All these are also important. Then coming back to the water sector is another very important topic because the new ministry during this last year has been set up, the Jal Shakti ministry, by combining the drinking water and the other water sectors. So now that this new ministry has been set up, what is the Jal mission, what are the various activities they are taking, all these are related to geography and environment are important. And then another important aspect is the steel sector. Steel sector with reference to public sector and how the private sector is playing a role in with reference to the steel sector. And then coming to the transport, understand the golden quadrilateral, east and west corridor, etc., and the role of sail in steel. And then which are the top five products of import which India does, and what are the five products of export which India does. You should, most of these are given in the economic survey, but also try to Google search and try to find out. And then now, after this Indian geography, we move on to the world geography. Okay, world geography should be very clear in understanding, particularly through the maps. What are the major seas? What are the mountains? What are the islands? What are the various straits of each of the continent? And what are the rivers? And what are the deserts? Also, try to be very clear on the countries along which the equator, countries along the Tropic of Cancer, countries along the Tropic of Capricorn, and this Tropic of Cancer passes through which of the seas, and major seas bordering which countries, particularly with reference to those countries and places which have been in the news. Okay. So now I'll take you to the last part of this lecture, that is the important places in news. So that all these places in news are very, very important, and try to not just understand, suppose Sea of Ozone is there. It has been in news for whatever reason. It is not just Sea of Ozone that you see. As a civil services aspirant, you are expected to have that curiosity to see what are the places in and around that. Okay, and then just make a note of it. So as you keep noting down, you will understand. Then there will be a pile of maps. If you actually overlap them, you can easily understand, and also very easy to remember the names of the places and places in and around them. So thanks a lot for your attention. We'll catch up in our next interaction to another video where I'll start from the important places in India, and then also we'll see the various terms in environment, ecology, biodiversity, various acts. We will also cover important topics even down to earth, and also other geographic magazines, and the forest report, various acts, and various important reports released by the Ministry of Environment and Forest. So if you are thorough in all this, it covers about 38 to 40 questions in the prelim. If you are thorough in this, prelims will be a cakewalk for you. You can easily pass for the prelims. Okay, thanks. Take care.